Okay, so let's start with some of these NBA allegations. A former NBA coach is quoted in this investigation as saying, "We were basically working for the Chinese government." The investigation outlines all kinds of abuse, lack of schooling, other things regarding young players. What is the situation with the NBA, with China? What do you think it should be?
Well, first of all, it's troubling. Look, China has 1 billion people. It's a massive market. Basketball is very popular. And if you're the NBA, you're thinking to yourself, we have a chance to sell our product in the biggest market in the world. And they see dollar figures and they're looking to expand and grow. The problem is, this is not just any other market. This is a totalitarian government that doesn't have any of the same concepts of freedom of speech or human rights that we have in the United States or in many parts of the world. And you got to play by their rules. So when you go to China, number one, you are a partner of the Chinese government. There's no other way around it, because even their companies have people on their boards and inside of their offices that are from the Communist Party. They are all ultimately, you're only in business in China, they allow you to be in business. And by allowing you to be in business, it means you have to play by their rules and serve their purposes. And so the NBA is in the same place as a lot of large corporations are when they go into China. They have to look the other way on some pretty atrocious actions on the part of the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, and the allegations that we're hearing in recent weeks, I mean, we've been hearing about the Uyghur situation, about the oppression of a religious minority there. I mean, potentially millions of people. This is something more that we're hearing now. Activists pushing for an investigation into claims that China is forcibly harvesting organs of the Uyghurs. The quote from FoxNews.com says this: 2 Uyghur activist organizations filed a complaint to the International Criminal Court against the Beijing leadership, alleging that the top brass had committed genocide and crimes against humanity against the Uyghurs, including the stealing of organs from the mostly Muslim Turkic ethnic group. I got to say, most Americans, if they believed that that was a reality, if they knew that it was a reality, would want nothing to do with being involved, American companies, American interests, with China. But do we have a voice in calling out the human rights abuses by staying engaged? Should we disengage? I mean, that's a horrific allegation.
Well, first of all, let me just say it is a horrific allegation. I'm not here to tell you, look, no one's been a bigger opponent of what they do than I do. I've heard that allegation before. I don't have evidence of it. Obviously, if there is evidence of it, the world deserves to know. But what we already know for sure is they detain people, they put them in camps, they try to strip them of their identity, they force them to change their name, renounce their faith and religion, all sorts of terrible things, and forced labor. They force them to work, and we know that there are Western companies that have benefited from that. Your fundamental question is, do we disengage from China? Look, they are the second largest economy in the world, the most populous nation on earth. They're a nuclear power. They're going to continue to grow in power and influence. We have to have a relationship with them, but it has to be a balanced relationship, meaning we can't continue to allow them to cheat, steal our jobs, and create unfair advantages over us. And it also has to be one that doesn't require us to abandon our fundamental principle. In essence, that requires us to look the other way when they do these horrible things, or when they crack down on free speech, or when they break the rules when it comes to the commitments they've made on Hong Kong. The price of that balance and of engagement cannot be that we abandon our principles, our ideals, and most importantly, our national interests.
Yeah, because I don't think that there's a bigger megaphone to draw attention to that than the American megaphone. I want to ask you about something else while we have you. The negotiations going on the Hill about coming up together with another relief package, as key elements of the current coronavirus package are set to expire. This is what Senate Minority Leader, the top Democrat, Chuck Schumer, said today about Republicans in these negotiations.
They put us up against the wall. We have 2 cliffs because they wouldn't negotiate for months. The HEROES bill passed 10 weeks ago today. We've been asking Leader McConnell to negotiate for a month, and now they're up against the wall.
Okay, so where are we tonight, Senator?
Well, a couple points. I mean, we have to do something for the economy writ large. We know that. I don't like spending $1 trillion or whatever it ends up being. But I think the alternative is even worse, which is structural, deep damage to our economy that could take a decade or more to recover from, and millions of people losing their jobs. So we have to do something. Passing something means you have to have a Republican Senate pass something with support from Democrats. We need 60 votes. A Democratic House pass something, and a Republican president, President Trump, sign it. So it's going to have to be a product of that dirty word called compromise, but we're going to have to do something. Now, it's not going to be the HEROES Act. I mean, that bill has all kinds of things in it that has absolutely nothing to do with the pandemic. But it does have to be something that helps people that are looking for jobs and can't find one right now, help small businesses survive, help protect companies from being sued out of existence, help develop more testing capability and hopefully ultimately a vaccine, and helps with the extraordinary cost of going back to school that'll be associated with making those schools safe. We have to do all of that, and we got to get it done soon. And I hope we can make some progress and stop playing the sort of political game back and forth and finger pointing, which has become far too common here from my friends, as we call them, on the other side of the aisle, the Democrats.